And we got bananas in chat from many familiar names there. And I'm not going to read any because they're moving ridiculously fast. But I do see Phenomen in chat. And I believe, people, it's Phenomen's birthday today. I just noticed the date. Happy birthday, Pheno. Nice to see you here. That one never gets old, does it? Jeez. Let's see what chat does now. Will it still be bananas? Or will it be happy birthdays? I think they're pretty content with the bananas, you know? Pretty content. There we go, there's the happy birthdays, brilliant. We got noises in the ear, even in the pre-stream. Jay, Cac Car 45 for 4 months, Emery 5 at the Prime, Oak Burger for 4 months, CJ Gibbons 88 for 3, Darkest Stealth 05 for 2, Person of Fun with the Prime, Jackie Wacky with the Prime. Thank you ever so much, appreciate it. Appreciate it. What was the music, says Bliss. It was Enter Shikari with 2 of the tracks off of their 2012 record, A Flash of Colour. In fact, the first 2 tracks on the record. And, you know, I was putting the new album on my phone. Sat down yesterday to do, rather than make videos all day long, I was doing errands, jobs around the house. And one of the things I need to do is update my music on my phone. And I realised I hadn't put all the Enter Shikari stuff on my phone for some reason. So I put that record on. And then when I listened to it, it was just like, whoa, like I was just transported backwards in time to when I first started running. I remember somewhere at the beginning of my running journey listening to that record. Now, 27, 54, we're going to need 3 shulker boxes for where I am going. We're going to go gather some resources. You know how it works. On streams, we do boring, grindy stuff. Oh, why are you watching? I'm just gonna mine blocks. It's not interesting. What are you doing here? Tune out. Jeez. Briar Patterson is here with the Prime. Acro with the Prime. Battle Beast for 2 months. Kenny's SR420 with the Prime. ABC Kiko 2 months. Horse Lover for 19. Fort Eminem with the Prime. I enjoy eating chalk. Is words I just said. No, that's someone who's subscribing with Prime. I don't enjoy eating chalk. Goodness me. OG Crazy Gamer is here with the Prime. Sorry, with regular subscription. Getting all confused there. Cap the Dragon for 24 months. That's a diamond face in chat. I was about to say Goldie. That's 2 years of support. Thank you ever so much. Hey X, have you heard Metalocalypse songs? Oh my good. What was it? Mermaider, Mermaider. Dun, doo, doo, dun, doo, doo. I'm not going to do a death metal voice. I loved that song. I watched all that stuff when it first came out. Demon Burger. Oh, there's some funny jokes in that show. Oh, good stuff. So it's very hot here, by the way. I am sweating. Now, I know some of you are big fans of the old sweat update. I've got a sweat rag next to me. Oh, that's exciting. Oh, I wonder if he'll wipe it. Like, wonder if he'll wipe his armpit later in the. That's the level of quality and entertainment I bring. Where else do you go for your sweat rag updates? Someone's added a rail here. That's obvious. To travel far, far away. It actually, oh, this is probably XB's rail then, because it's sort of going towards where XB is. Cartoffee, awesome. You're building a bamboo farm like the one that I've built. That's really cool. That's really cool. We're here to get some sandstone, people. The best place to get the sandstone is from the more mountainous terrain. Like if you get some... Whoa, we got an Evil X noise. It's the one and only Angry K9 for 61 months. On the way to 6 years, only 11 more months to go, lol. Indeed, my friend. Thank you so much, Mr. K9. So here might be a spot. I mean, if I do that, and it's Desert Hills. I think Desert Hills is good. X, I just heard about the false harassment. Is she alright? I haven't had the chance to talk to her. I'm going to assume she's, you know, got thick skin and knows how to deal with this stuff. It's never pleasant when it happens, obviously. But we'll be alright, you know, we'll probably talk about it at our meeting. And it's not just her as well, you know. It's just a general immaturity thing that seems to happen. What is this, like a different biome just here? No, it's not. There just happens to be stone there. So, if anyone, because people are asking in chat, wants to know what happens, there's a video happened or is happening. There's a video on my Asuma Says channel covering everything. That's the thing to go watch if you want to be in the know and get informed as to what some people will probably be mentioning from time to time in the comments there. Anyway, noises in the air. Oh my goodness me, I've fallen behind. Look, I'll just give you a second and bam. James Drew 27 is here for 50 months. Incredible. We got Toguro Joe for 19 months saying 1.5 million points and 549 watt units later. Go folding. Yeah, go folding. Indeed. Peeps, if you would like to join the effort in helping scientific research against COVID-19, against the current situation, if you want to help by lending your processing power of your computer, there is a whole network of people doing this. It's called Folding at Home. We're doing it through Team Hermitcraft, and we'd love to have you help out. I was doing it the other day, just yesterday, when I was doing all my errands. I had it running, and then halfway through the day I noticed it wasn't running, and I booted it up again, and then I realised whenever I boot it up it doesn't run. I need to look into it, but for some reason it stopped working on my computer, which was kind of annoying, as it could have done a lot of work yesterday, but you know, I probably could have got through like 10 work units. Anyway, that's the thing. That's the thing. I didn't leave the ad on the screen. I remembered this time. Okay. All right. We got Midnight Lover 96 for 2 months. Waylander 101 with the Prime. A World with the Prime. Fanu for 11 months. Hope you're staying safe and working out as usual. Today was a workout day, Fanu. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I'm going through this cutting thing at the moment, and just I like the stability it brings to the diet and stuff. I don't know. It just feels like you get into a groove of it, and food becomes less of an obsession. However, I've been making this stuff called protein fluff. Okay. I heard about this dessert. It's super low calorie, it's high protein, and it's really thick and filling. And I wanted to make some, so I've been making some with liquid egg whites. You whisk those up for like 5 minutes, and then I've been mixing them with fruit. I haven't put in any sweeteners. I haven't, done much more than that, and it's all right. It's going to take me a while to perfect it and figure out the best way to do it, though. Some people do it with the casein protein, so I've got loads of that, which I'll give it a try. It's a really interesting dessert. The one that I made today was really like Angel Delight, it reminded me of. So this protein fluff, you get some egg whites, you get a little bit of like coconut or almond milk. And we've got someone trying to help us out. Look, dude, I'll do it myself. I'll break all these blocks myself. Don't worry about it. Jeez. And I've fallen down. That's just fantastic. And the sweat is dripping down my arms. Something ridiculous right now. I'm standing, by the way. Standing desk hype. You know. Makes for a better stream, I've heard, you know. Probably makes no difference whatsoever. So anyway, this protein fluff stuff, like, you get a massive bowl of it. For like 150 calories. I had a huge bowl of it. It was so filling. And I've just done it with fruit and with liquid egg whites whisked up so far, and it's a bit on the plain side, but like I can handle that because I don't have a lot of sweet and sugary stuff, so it was really quite nice for me. But I do want to like find a way to make it a little bit more flavorful. So I've done it with raspberries, and I did that with, I think, frozen raspberries, and I realized it wasn't going to whisk up well, so I had to really like mash up the raspberries, because they say to make this stuff with frozen fruit, and I'm definitely going to try that at some point. But I made it with blueberries, I made it with raspberry. Today, I made it with this, I've got this, like, powdered peanut butter stuff, right? So basically, they take all the oil out of peanut butter. And I've got one that comes with chocolate as well. So it's like this low-calorie chocolate peanut butter flavour. And I whisked it up with that, and it was just like a classic Angel Delight, and I really liked it. With the blueberries, I did those when they weren't frozen. And I mashed them down. I got a little hammer masher, and I mashed them down the best I could, but they were kind of lumpy when they get mixed. So what I'm thinking is, I think you have to really like blend up the raspberries or the blueberries so you really juice them, and then mix the juice in with this stuff. But tomorrow I'm going to make a version of it that uses casein and this stuff called xanthium gum, which you use for baking, and it's like a thickening agent, and so it should make like a big dollop of this really thick protein fluff that will just fill me up. Anyway, it's fun. It's fun to be experimenting, and it's like making a pudding as well, like a low-calorie pudding. Strawberry plus banana milkshakes tastes delicious. You should try making them. I'd probably really like that. I've got some frozen strawberries. I've got a banana. Although I was just going to eat that raw. I love bananas. Tasty. Tasty stuff. Right, we've got noises in the air from Convoy for 44 months. And that Christopher for 52 months. My goodness me. Shashwami Void, can't wait to hear you butcher my name for another 52 months. Cheers, dude. Thank you so much. Void MH with the Prime. We've got Cat Baker Street for 6 months. We have Axel Van de Dijk. I have no idea how to pronounce that name. I'm butchering it, I know. Katie Wally is here with cheers and bits. No message with that one. Thank you so much. Appreciate the contribution to the channel. We have Free Phase for 28 months. Bandanu with the Prime. LF Gaming 1 for 9 months, saying, hi X, love your videos, streams, and Asuma says, keep it up. Thank you so much. I will continue to do what I do, you know. I was having some deep thoughts earlier today. Oh, goodness me. I was listening to a podcast with someone who had suffered through cancer, and they were talking about like how getting cancer and going through all of that wasn't like this life-changing kind of moment. It was more like, you know, like they just wanted to continue doing things as normal. And it got me thinking, the power of having something thrust upon you like that. Like, hey, you've only got so much time left on the clock. What would you change and do different? And you know, I don't know if like I don't think I would actually continue doing this, right? It would just be like, I mean, we can't travel right now, right? But it would be like, go travel, go do these other things, right, that I enjoy doing, if I knew how to find out amount of time. But I wouldn't have regretted any of this at all. Like, this has been absolutely amazing. Every day I get like these messages from people saying how much like the videos help and all of this, but like, y'all gotta know that y'all help me too. I feel like my journey on YouTube has like helped me so much as a person to have like, you know, a positive force in your life. It helps you with so much other stuff. And yeah, I just had a real kind of like think over that. Foxy says, X, what do you think of praying every day? As someone who doesn't pray, I don't really have much to say on the matter, I guess. I don't, you know what that's like, or have that in my life. My instinct is that for me it would be kind of meaningless, because rather than extend a message or a want or an ask or something like to something external, I would think internally. I would be using that time to like, how can I become a better person, or you know, use that time to reflect introspectively. Let's go chuck some sandstone in there, and now I'm accumulating sand, which I actually, why am I accumulating so much sand? I don't want to accumulate sand right now, because I need to fill up all of these shulker boxes with sandstone. I mean, I might throw it back on the ground. That would be weird, wouldn't it? You would do more of a meditation, says Obrion. Yeah, something like that. Cyan Pumpkin says, have you ever looked into religion? Of course, yeah. I'm just naturally drawn to science. I try not to believe in stuff. I try to let there be like facts or provable things, or as science tries to do, reduce uncertainty. As opposed to have a belief in something. I'd rather see it in data, statistics, experiments, things that are replicable, right? I don't want to have this idea that I should just follow my intuition, because the human experience can be misleading, you know? There are many like fallacies of thought and logic that we can fall folly to, and so I look for things that are more empirical, I guess, if I'm using that word correctly at all. Could be using it wrong. Let's chuck these things up here, and let's throw that thing down there, and then jump in it. Jeez, we jumped in that thing. You could use the sand to craft stone instead of wasting it. That's a great idea, Ed Holder. You know, if I have too much of it, craft it. Do you believe in God then? Says Sven Elpak. I don't think I do. Well, like I said, belief. You know, I couldn't believe in a God because I don't believe in having belief. So it's like I would want to see proof, or a replicatable experiment that can, determine there is some godlike thing out there. And, believe and belief is a strong word we use in language, so you'll probably hear me say belief casually a lot. But when I'm trying to be concise about what I'm saying, I'll be sure to try and remove that, right? Like a higher power, says the old. Not a higher, well, maybe it's a higher power. I just, like gravity, for example. We're pretty sure, it's like there's a lot of science, there's a lot of experimentation, a lot of understanding, mathematics going towards gravity being a real thing. Therefore, I could believe in gravity, I guess, right? But when it comes to gods, it's like I'm not a what do you call it? Atheist. I'm not an atheist. I just don't look at it that way. Just don't look at it that way at all. Do you believe in morals? Because there has to be an example of morals to set the grade. Does there have to be? I mean, the idea of there having to be, or like purpose and meaning in our existence, is something we're all clearly driven to strive for, right? To strive for meaning, to strive for purpose. But, so far the universe and science has, sort of revealed, like, math and, laws and all these things that are beautiful, but they don't have any of those things. And it leaves me to think, based on the things I've sort of heard and thought about, that it could be that our experience as humans, it's like a survival mechanism. It's part of how we evolved and got consciousness, that things like morality and purpose and meaning are driving forces for us to, genetic, like inbuilt driving forces for us to do the things that we do. So when it comes to morality, I believe that morality can be achieved through thought, self-reflection, discussion, sharing of ideas, as opposed to some sort of moral authority that has been placed upon us, so to speak. What about the supernatural, says Coffee Laxatives. Well, supernatural phenomenon, I could be getting this slightly wrong, but isn't it like unexplained phenomenon? It's like a UFO, right? When I say UFO, you might start thinking alien spacecraft. If you think about what it actually says, unidentified flying object, right? So, if you see something flying up in the sky that you can't identify, it could just be a plane, but you just don't know how to identify it. So I believe that there are probably phenomena happening that we are yet to understand. And the reason that I believe, again, using that word believe, but here's why. Because historically, we know that in the past, we didn't understand things like Northern Lights, or that we thought the world was flat, which we don't believe anymore, of course. No one believes that, Well, the people that believe it, but the facts and the science say something, different. But yeah, historically speaking, there were phenomenon that people didn't understand, and over time we've developed our understanding of the world, and then we learn to explain these things. So when there are phenomena happening today that we don't understand, it could just be yet to be explained, right? That is some tasty tea right there. There is no proof that the Earth is round, but we believe it is round. If you're in the position of believing it's all flat or it's a hoax or whatever, it's up to you to challenge that and go seek out the information of people talking to the contrary, because you know it's out there, you know there's opposing opinion. And I think if you take the time to perhaps listen to someone like Neil deGrasse Tyson explain you know, how we know that it is an oblique spheroid, you'll realize that there's a lot of replicatable evidence and scientific experiment that has gotten us to this point, because we came from a point where we didn't think it was, and then the science advanced, and over time we reduced our uncertainty in knowing if it was a sphere or not, right? Earth is a cube, says Dimpei. You could say this Earth is a cube. This Hermitcraft Earth, right? But is it a cube? Because depends what size the render distance is. That would make it like a more rectangular shape, I think. Earth is a Mobius strip. The moon is actually an egg shape. Is it actually? I've not heard that before. Okay, it might not be a perfect sphere, but an egg is a pretty like elongated from a sphere. Like I know Earth is spherical, but it's called an oblique spheroid because it's slightly squashed. I believe the north and south poles are slightly closer together than the equator is, the furthest points of the equator, because it rotates and pulls the mass inwards. But, you know, I could be getting that entirely wrong. But yeah, is it like egg-shaped as in it's a little bit like an egg, or an actual egg shape? Because eggs are pretty drastic shape compared to a sphere. That's a lot of mass that's been displaced. What is your opinion of the people who spam Kilgrian prank Mumbo? I don't have opinion of them. I just don't know what that world looks like, where everyone does what they say when they just say it. Like that would be like. Can you imagine how dull it would be if every stream you turned into, we didn't have discussions like this. We didn't talk about anything interesting. All we ever did was hunt down Grian or prank Mumbo. Just be a bit boring, wouldn't it? That's what I think. It'd just be a little bit boring if we actually did that. And to all the people who do want to see me prank Mumbo, I hope you were here at the beginning of the stream, because we did an epic prank on Mumbo. You know, I make exceptions every now and then. If you spam Kilgrian, prank Mumbo, I do make exceptions. And at the beginning of this episode, oh, it was fantastic. We pranked Mumbo, we killed Grian. It was superb. It was just classic Hermitcraft history right there. You know? Haha, you didn't, says Howd. I think if you look in chat, people are disagreeing with you. There's some people here that clearly remember it. It was amazing, says Team Minecraft, you know? It was cool, says Stuffthings1. See? Clearly, it was a great thing. Let's get to those noises in the ear, because once again I waffled and I went really far behind. Really far behind. LF Gaming 1 for 9 months, saying hi X, love your videos and streams. And oh, we did read that one, didn't we? Thank you again. Ambassador is here with cheers and bits, saying you talked about intermittent fasting a couple of streams ago. I'm trying to get in shape / lose some of the quarantine weight. Did some cursory research and came across a 16-hour, 8-hour method that I'm thinking of trying. Did you ever hear of it? Yeah, that's probably your entry level way to go. I'm doing about 8 to 6 hours a day myself at the moment. I did it hardcore once where I did like 4 hours, and to be fair, like stuffing in 3,000 calories in 4 hours is like, it's a bit weird. It's a bit weird. I think spreading it out a little bit works better for me. But I'm quite flexible. With all the things I've tried, I pretty much try something and stick at it and it's doable. But that's just me. So yeah, I totally recommend it for anyone who wants to take a little bit of control. Intermittent fasting is quite well documented to have health benefits. It's about fasting for a period of time that doesn't span more than a day. Okay, if you want to do more than a day, that's, you know, that's out of my territory. I can't really tell you too much about that. There's some differing opinions on that kind of fasting for sure. Yes, there is. But 8 hours is a great way to start. And what you want to aim for is just eating normally within those 8 hours. Other tips for like starting out, because you know I'm like hardcore into it. I'm doing calorie counting and macros, and this stuff can be a bit much and daunting when you're getting started and not that interesting in it. But there are some basic principles that can help you a lot. Like, don't drink fizzy drinks. You just pump in sugar into your system and creating insulin spikes, and all that stuff's just not particularly great for shifting weight off your body. Diet drinks are just equally as bad. I'd really recommend drinking a lot of water. If you're struggling a little bit in those moments between when you're not eating, try having tea with a tiny bit of milk in, or just water. And when you do eat, you know, don't gouge yourself too much, but you know, make sure you're eating a reasonable amount. If you're calorie counting, you'd be able to know, hey, I'm getting the amount that I need to eat each day, right? Because you don't want to severely undereat. And the other thing I'd say is don't snack. Don't do snacks. Just have proper meals. And then enjoy your eating with those 8 hours. And when you're not in the eating window, just try not to think about it and just crack on with other things. What I like about my lifestyle is that I make videos, and it's usually in the times that I'm not eating that I'm working and making videos, and just sort of I'm in that other world, right? So my routine for a while now has been, I do a lot in the morning and then I do a lot in the evening, but in the middle of the day it's like exercise, working out and cooking pretty much. And that kind of works really well for me, you know. No need to count macros in my opinion. Just calories or overall energy and protein for muscle retention. Well, if you're counting protein, you're counting macros essentially, right? So I count macros, but there's a reason I do, and that's just to make sure I reach my protein goal every day, right? Because I have a protein goal because of the type of training that I do and the goals that I have for my physique. So it's not for everyone. But, you know, if you did count macros, it would make sense to have a goal. One of those would just be to make sure you're eating a reasonable amount of protein. Protein's like great, especially if you're doing regular exercise. And the other thing is that some people respond well to like low fat or low carb, and I'm like right down the middle. I've sort of done a little bit of either way, but I'm just happy with eating a majority of carbs really. It's like a third to half carbs, the rest is fat and protein. What's a macro? Macronutrients, so fats, carbs, and proteins. Let's catch up with these noises in the ear. ProLaser9000 is here for 2 months, saying sub last month and will every month. Loving the streams. Thank you, dude. Appreciate it. We've got Professor Dr. Pug for 32 months, Nafin MC for 5, Zalyutron for 8 months. We've got HCF1234 for 3 months, Tau Pi with the Prime, Airman891 with 8 months of support there, Davin Diamonds 123 for 2 months, Screaming Monk for 35, Joel Orech gifting a sub to Varon32. Thank you ever so much for gifting that sub, dude. Gold Owl Plays, Astralane X, and Jiffy J14 for 39 months. Mickey Snipe for 37 months. Incredible. Convert Catalyst with the Prime, and we got Nethos here with a donation saying, hey X, just watched your financial tips video and I found it really helpful. I am currently a student and was wondering if you had any uni specific financial tips since I am trying to be more responsible. I think probably what I said most of in that video was the best you're going to get out of me at this point in time. That's a video I want to go back and redo at some point, because I think I could condense that and make some of the advice there a little better. Now, to give you uni-specific advice, I'm not sure, other than to maybe search for uni-specific advice financially. There might be like compensation schemes or some form of financial help that's available to students where you are. I don't know, but you'd have to go do some research. And then, yeah, when it comes to finances, everything in that video is pretty much, you know, how I do it and look at it. You know, just be frugal. That's a pretty good word. Being frugal with your money can be good for you if you want to save up and get some money in the bank for, you know, when things go wrong. So you've got that safety cushion, or maybe save up for a holiday or something you want to do in the future. Taking control of your finances gives you a lot of freedom, and spending your money like willy-nilly as it comes in and comes out kind of feels like freedom, but it ends up just meaning that, you know, you're usually out of luck when something pops up and it's like, hey, do you want to come do this thing? And it's like, well, I don't get paid until this day, and then you miss out. So yeah, learning to be frugal is just like learning to be smart with your money, really. Just knowing like when's a good time to spend it on or not. Maybe one thing that might help you is like tracking. Every time you spend money, track it, and then look back at the end of the month, and you might be like, there's things I'm spending money on here that are just of the moment, right? Like drinking is a big one. Drinking and smoking, those are expensive habits, and they're just of the moment. They don't really build up to anything long run, right? Like if you buy a bit of gym equipment, that adds up over time. Like every time you use it, you're getting something out of it, and it stays there. But you know, if you're buying booze and smoke, it's just like smoking your money away. It's gone, right? I mean, you know, using your money to have a good time is obviously a good thing, but some habits, you know, you don't necessarily need, and if you've got other goals in life, they're getting in the way, maybe. You pay for the experience, says I'm just gonna say Nud. Nud says you pay for the experience. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know. Right, actually we got kind of all we need now. That's terrific. So, you know, that's awkwardly placed up there, isn't it? And we got extra sand. Let's take all these things back. Grabbing them all. Right, make sure nothing's been left up top. Right, we got Joel Lurch for 7 months. Joel, thank you for gifting that sub, saying, as a T1 diabetic, intermittent fasting is basically required for me to stay healthy. I had no idea that intermittent fasting would work in conjunction with being diabetic. That is interesting. There's a bunch of noise outside. Don't know if you can hear that. Oh my goodness me, we need to repair our tools. That's what I wanted to check anyway. Yeah, I guess, you know, like, when you eat, that's gonna, like, spike your insulin levels, depending on what you eat, you know, carbs and sugars. So I can understand how not eating for periods of time throughout the day would help with that, I guess. But, you know, what do I know? I'm not a doctor. Just speculating. We got Kraut Sultan here with Cheers and Bits, saying, thank you for all the endless hours of entertainment. Thank you ever so much for your Cheers and Bits, dude. I appreciate it. Randy Nicole, 2002, here with the Cheers and Bits, saying, X, I think we are just a video game playing a video game and someone else is controlling our every move and situation. Interesting. Kicking off a discussion there, Randy. You know, this whole idea of like simulation, are we living in a simulation? If we are, then it's likely that that simulation is therefore inside of another simulation. It goes on and on. It goes down an endless rabbit hole. The discussion I'm always interested in is determinism. Are our actions and the illusion of free will, as I would call it, are they our own? Is consciousness and experience we're actually having control over? Certainly feels like it, and as I lean towards determinism, I still feel like the illusion of free will is a gift and something you can still utilize. There's often that kickback of like, oh, just let go of everything and don't do anything then if it's deterministic. It doesn't have to be that way. What do you think about solipsism? Oh, are you a solipsist too? I'm a solipsist. No. Solipsism is the idea of you being the only actual real person and everyone else being false. So, like, if you want to do the whole I think therefore I am, in a way, that idea, you know, relating to your mind, can sort of prove that you are conscious, but how can you prove anyone else is conscious? And so solipsism is the belief that you're the only conscious person, And then there's this old joke of like, hey, I'm a solipsist too. Like a solipsist said to another solipsist, hey, I'm a solipsist too. And it's just a silly little joke. It's funny though, it makes me laugh. Right, how many stacks of this stuff did I need? 33 of these need to be smooth, so I just put in a few, and then we'll put in that plus one, let's say, just in case I missed something there. Miscalculated. So that. Then we got this sand to shift. That simply needs to go into this chest. So there's this other idea that I wanted to talk about a few streams back, and we never got around to talking about it again, called Laplace's Demon? Laplace's Demon, I believe. And it is the idea that there is a demon, okay? It's a thought experiment. There ain't an actual demon, don't worry. Jeez, I made some of you panic, didn't I? It's the idea that there's a demon, and that this demon has a godlike understanding of everything that's happening at any point in time. It understands the movement of all particles that are interacting with one another. So its idea of knowledge is based on science. It's based on like a physical reality and an understanding of all the laws, and that it can understand them. So if you imagine a slice of time gets paused, okay? And we will focus in on a small section. Just some small little thing. Maybe it's like a glass of water, right? And inside of the water you can see all of the particles. You understand all of their positions, their momentums. And then the laws of physics would determine what would happen in the next slice of time. Okay, so this is an idea for determinism, is that if you could conceive in one single moment of time all that's happening all at once, all of those particles in their gazillions, you know, their gazillions upon gazillions, you would understand what happens in the next slice of time. And so it's a very deterministic thought experiment. The idea that determinism could be what underpins everything, that the laws of science and you know, things like the laws of science. I sound so smart sometimes, don't I? Jeez. The laws are like gravity and thermodynamics and all these other properties of our universe mean that everything that happens always obeys to those laws. So every single instance of time determines the next slice of time. Okay? So if the slice of time you're living in right now, all the thoughts and the feelings that you're having are determining the next little slice of time, then what control do you assert over it? Where does free will come into play? How can you inject like something random or chaos into this ordered system of things that interact with each other? Don't quantum mechanics break the Laplace's demon, says Emperor Akira. Now, I've spent a lot of time listening to stuff about quantum mechanics, okay, because I'm into my edutainment, but I ain't going to pretend like I really understand it, okay? But having listened to a lot of different people talk about it, there are people that do this thing where it's like, ooh, when we go down to the quantum level, everything's random and it means, you know, all this hokey pokey woody woo stuff, right? That stuff's pretty like nonsense, okay? Then in the people that actually understand what's happening down at that level, there tends to be like these two different sort of ways of looking at it. And one where the language focuses on the word random, which kind of like adds an idea that there's no order to it or there's no structure to it. And then there's other people that use the term of probability, probabilistic. And so the double split experiment, the idea is that the act of performing the experiment interferes with the experiment itself, and so you get this like seemingly random result, but actually the result is probabilistic, because where the thing appears when they do the double slit experiment, it's more likely to appear in one position than it is in another one, but it can go into different positions. So the probabilistic approach could suggest that we just don't understand it enough. And so if you think of quantum mechanics like that, like rather than give in to the sway of it all being hokey cokey magic, like if we just think, hey, maybe we don't understand this enough yet, that's the way I would look at it, right? Like the more we learn about it, then maybe we'll figure out, oh, okay, you know, this is explainable. So, to underpin Laplace's demon with, like, the idea that randomness breaks it, maybe we don't actually understand if there is something truly random or not. And for me, like, the whole random thing, I just instinctively don't like randomness. It just feels like if there's all this structure and order and all these laws which things, like, work under, randomness just feels like something that wouldn't fit in, because it would just break stuff. And anyway, the thing about the Laplace's demon is that was an idea that I had when I was, like, you know, decades ago when I was a kid. Like, and I was thinking about this stuff for the first time. When you're in the kind of like, oh man, everything's like I just watched The Matrix, and now I'm like a philosophy major, and oh man, the system, it's all like blinding you. Look at all the sheeple, you know. When I was when I was young and I used to think like that, you know, that was one of the ideas that I started to think about. I was like, what if everything operated under these laws and you could just pause time and you could see it all? Then you would surely see the next slice. And then that made me think, well, then there's no free will. Like, there's just the next little bit of time happening. And that's like where that all started for me. That's where my, like, fascination of this sort of stuff started. Let's get some more fuel in here, because we're running out. Ah, yes, the very smart teen phase. Yeah. Well, you know, it's a phase you have to go through. It's a good thing. I think it's good to start thinking like that, but eventually you're going to realise that some of your initial ideas are not so smart, and that there's people that have been here before you and thought about this a lot more, right? And I feel like finally I've found those sorts of people. You know, podcasting, you can get access and insight into, like, all different fields of professions, because now all of a sudden the professionals, all the scientists, the mathematicians that were sort of behind the wall of, I guess, authority, you know, like the education system, the authority of that, like, now all of a sudden these people are like human and accessible, and they're not just appearing on like TV shows. They've got podcasts. You can learn about their life stories and understand, like, what motivates them to do what they do, and that world of information is just so fascinating to me, and I just love it. It's wonderful. Deep Convos with X, new series, says Benny Boy. Yeah. Well, that's just the Asuma Says channel, right? I mean, it's a channel now. It's a literal channel. And there are 4,400 people here tuning in. Thank you for listening to me waffle about my my interests. Jeez, I'm sure it's not everyone's cup of tea. What podcast do you listen to, says Crocodilian. If you want to listen to stuff like quantum mechanics and, like, real deep sciencey stuff, the Mindscape podcast with Sean Carroll. That's it, I got it right. Oh, I just cleared my chat by mistake. Didn't know I could do that. That's the one I'd recommend for the sciencey stuff. Learned a lot from listening to those. They're certainly cool. Right, let's get to those noises in the ear. We have... I don't even know where we were. We got to Randy. Thank you, Randy. Again, for those cheers and bits. Darkness Rise 92 for 2 months, saying, just came from Asuma Says channel, watching a bunch of videos. Love that channel. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, what we were just talking about will probably end up on there. You know, you can watch it again. Zram for 2 months. Nick Payton with the Prime. We got Duskus Singer with the cheers and bits, saying, also do recommend caution for this who try the calorie macro counting, as it can be a slippery slope to eating disorders. Some people will struggle with it a lot more. Yeah, what can I say to that? I think there, you know, when we talk about having eating disorders, I think there are many things that can trigger an eating disorder, and so people should be aware that they can develop them or have unhealthy relationships with food. But in this instance, I wouldn't really think about putting the onus on the calorie counting method. It's probably your relationship with food that the onus should more go on, right? Like, the calorie counting is a tool, and it's not best used for everyone, that's for sure. Yeah, this applies to a lot of things I see, like, especially if you express some sort of political opinion or opinion about something, is that someone else comes in and it's like, no, this can do this bad thing, right? But sometimes it's not really the thing you're talking about, it's just the person's relationship with it. I wouldn't put a warning label on calorie counting. It's more like you just need to educate people that you have a relationship with food, and that those can lead you into bad places, unhealthy places, if not managed correctly. And it's probably not the calorie counting that is the slippery slope, it's the person's way of interacting with food. So if you were perhaps trying to lose weight and you were counting calories to do it and you were going way under the amount, maybe you need to eat 2,000 a day and you're doing 1,000, that's not good. It's too much. It's probably lack of knowledge that you're doing that, or if you're doing it intentionally, the calorie counting probably doesn't mean too much to it. You'd probably intentionally undereat anyway, right? So I would say it's more like that sounds like a tool that's being used wrong to me. Not that the calorie counting itself is the problem. Does that make sense? Physics student here, unfortunately, undeterminacy is inhibited by all... Jeez, I need a pause button on chat. I wish I had a pause button. Is every stream an ad for health and fitness? Yeah, pretty much. Right, what's next on my list of things to do? You should try to learn classic physics before trying to understand quantum mechanics. Yeah, if I sounded like I was trying to explain them, I thought I kind of made it clear that I've just listened to other people and kind of picked up, because it's edutainment to me, right? Like, very aware that I don't retain information very well, and therefore I try to be transparent that it's like, hey, I've listened to loads of people talk about quantum mechanics and I kind of get the gist, and that this is what it sounds like to me. I'm not trying to say I know it in and out and stuff like that. Repair your tools, yes, but I didn't want to leave the area, so I was just looking at my notes, things to do around here, I guess. I just feel like waffling. Maybe we should go over to the bamboo area and work on that, right? And I kind of want to get more fuel in here, but they all seem to be so well stocked up, I guess. Guess we'll come back and fix all that later. Alright then, so... what do I need if I'm going to work on this next area? Probably quite a few things. Going to need some bamboos. Going to need some podzol. And grass and coarse dirt. There's the grass. Need some coarse dirt, which we can make with these blocks. Will you do a mid-season tour? Ah, okay. So I'm not one of those like Minecrafters that like gravitates to doing that periodic world tour. I don't know why, I never do. I just sort of keep on trucking, but I think I'll do one if something comes up or happens. And I'll tell you what will happen. Okay, when this lockdown stuff is over, I'll disappear for a week, so I'll probably do it then, you know. Just gonna go on a holiday or whatever. Games Nick, welcome to my channel, and thank you for the message. Glad you're enjoying what we do here. So we've got to pick up some bamboo, and then we've got to pick up some leaves. And chuck them in here. And that'll do. We'll worry about repairing tools later, I think. Place we can get bamboo from is just over here as it goes. Score on tag, please, says Gagum. 49 still. What's a music genre that you absolutely refuse to listen to? Well, I won't refuse to listen to anything, really. And I think of the genres of music that I dislike, I don't dislike them enough that it would ever really be too much of a problem. Maybe if you were going to torture me and make me listen to it at full volume on repeat forever, then there's some styles I'd request to not listen to. But... yeah, in general, this is weird. I don't get why this one hasn't filled up, and yet all the next ones have. It's weird. Okay, probably going to end up needing more of that. Going to go fix this flying machine. Right, we've got a flying machine here that breaks, and I don't know why for the life of me. It just breaks here every single time. It just stops. It just decides to stop. It's really weird. I have no idea why. Okay, need to get to the back of this bamboo forest. And I've chosen, you know, the worst way to do it. We should probably put another tree in the middle. Or actually, we should put some trees here at the back. That's what I should grab. Let's get saplings and bone meal. I have all of that in my ender chest now because I am an organised professional Minecrafter. Yeah, that's what I am. Organised professional Minecrafter. Look at my ender chest. Oh, it's beautiful. I've never seen anything so wonderful. Okay, jungle sapling. Bony stuff in the white box. Yeah, we'll take a little bit of this and grow ourselves a tree or two, or three maybe 3 trees. Oh, spoiling you. You're getting 3 trees today apparently. Right, please be a tall one. Yeah, that's great, terrific. Let's catch up with those noises in the ear. I didn't get very far, did I? We're 20 minutes behind. Oh goodness me. Sedwe, thank you for 8 months. Martial Artist, thank you for the subscription. Herminator, 15. Thank you ever so much for your 15 months of support. All the small bunnies have subscribed. By the way, Herminator, I've still not had a hug. You know, it's still lockdown basically, so no human contact for a while, I guess, is the name of the game. Let's put that one up on the tree. That's our little work of operations, operation point. I don't know what to call it. Operation Aquafunder, you know. It's our place where we put the things. We've got Alex Druck gifting a sub to Dat Fredster. Thank you ever so much for supporting our community. Very kind of you to do that. Appreciate it. Appreciate it ever so much. Let's get down there. Let's play some blocks. Let's make this jungle happen, people. Let's make this jungle great. You know, let's make it wonderful. We got Jelly Buns 113 with the Prime, Blue Finn with the Prime, Super Sloth Boy, Rune Clonky. We got Picky Paz subscribing, Matt Ratzamat for 11 months. Awesome. Thank you so much. Shin Kenny is here resubscribing for 4 months. We got Memulicious under 6 foot with the Prime and King Wee Wee 84 for 2 months. Thank you so much. We also got Lexi the Hedgehog with a donation saying, started watching you this season of Hermitcraft. Love your content. Excuse me, mouth burp. Is that the sort of content you love? Probably not. I apologise. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Hope you continue to enjoy it. I love this community. Love what we do here. It's a beautiful thing to be a part of. I thank all of you for being a part of it with me. We got Pete Manteu with the Prime subscription. Thank you, Pete. Appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Having a good time. Mouth burp. Are there other kinds? Says Disturbed Puppy. Oh, so a mouth burp is like where you try and hold it down a bit, but you have like an open mouth burp where you don't, right? So if I burp while I'm streaming, I'm not just going to burp outright. I'm going to, you know, try and conceal it because I'm a polite human being who doesn't want you to endure the suffering of my vocal exhale of burpiness, you know. Right, we're just going to have that come down to about there, I think. Sumer, I saw your video regarding the mayoral drama. I'm really sorry that some fans feel that way, but I thought your response was really professional. I love all your videos as well as the other hermits. Thank you so much, dude. Yeah, the response has been really terrific, and if I could drill anything home about that video, it is to be the example and to not hate on people that do it, right? Like, it doesn't help to lash out at people that are behaving that way either, right? Even though you might think you're in the right, you get pulled down to their level. You know, lead by example. Be supportive of those hermits that are, you know, receiving this undue attention, I guess, and show other people the way to behave and be polite. It was like something I was reading on Reddit. I mean, Reddit's not like a factual source of information for this stuff, but some people were just discussing, I think, like tactics for dealing with negativity, and one of them was like talking about how when someone's like really blatantly hostile to you, sometimes it can be effective to just like not respond with anger and to actually just slow down, like don't even respond, take a good moment to breathe, and then just try and start again with them. And that sounded like a really reasonable tactic, you know, like something I hope to keep in my mind, and if ever I find myself in a situation I can try and use that, and maybe it would be effective, maybe it wouldn't, but it seemed very reasonable to approach things that way. And again, that's like trying to be the example as opposed to getting pulled down into, you know, being angry back and, oh, how dare you talk to me like that. Usually ends up pretty poor. It's one of the things I see in political discussion a lot is, you know, people with opposing ideas seem to end up like scratching. I'm doing things with my hands, like a cat scratching with their claws at each other, and it's a lot of stuff just descends into people shouting at each other, and it's so unproductive and, you know, unreasonable, I guess. I haven't put any grass in here. I'm going to put a block of grass in now. Where is the best place to send fan art, says the Quirkster. Definitely on Twitter. Twitter is the place that I eyeball up for things that people want to send to me. Basically, the social media that I use is just Twitter. You know, I read my Twitter and that's about it. Get out of here, you scamp. Setting me on fire. Jeez. What is this, Night of the Living Dead? So yeah, I got my eye on the ground with the Twitter stuff. You know, I check my feed regularly. But I don't use Facebook anymore. At some point I'll figure out, you know, how to close down my Facebook thing or whatever, as the fan art is now available on my website. Okay, so we grew a tree over there. Let's grow a smaller tree here as well. And let's also maybe put down a couple of lights while I remember that that's the thing that we can do. Oh, and it's a small one. I think I'll let it go, you know. I'll let it have that one. So we've got to put down a lot of bamboo. Next, maybe more than I brought with me. We've got to sleep in a bed. That'd be a good idea. Also, my smelter ain't loaded, you know? Maybe I'll just log in with my camera account and keep it somewhere. Wow! 2 hearts! That was rough. Don't mean to shock you, but I'll be late again, says Beck Loves Pandas. I am shocked! How on earth could someone ever be late? McBoss is here, gifting a sub to relax, enjoy life. I like that name. Thank you ever so much for gifting the sub, MacBoss. We also got O-Rules 111 with the Prime. Thank you ever so much, dude. Appreciate it. Let's get my camera account on here. How do you see Minecraft in the future, says Dimpay. I don't know how, like, I don't have a prediction. I do believe, actually, that they will be taking more suggestions from their like, official suggestion upvote system thing that they've got, because this update has had about like 5 or 6 things that have come directly from the top list of suggestions for Minecraft. So it feels like they're really getting on board with listening to what the community wants, and so I would actually expect to see more community suggestions going into the game. Are you familiar with Nembom's Ghostlings? Yeah, and I really like them. I do feel like they maybe have 1 or 2 many features for the simplicity of Minecraft. I think if I were a dev and I were going to implement Nembom's idea, I'd scale back some of the more detailed stuff and keep it very kind of simple to understand, because a lot of stuff in Minecraft is you know, inherently quirky, which makes things complex in a weird way, but the overall principle tends to be that things are relatively simple, right? And so I would, you know, want that to continue with something like the Ghostlings. Okay, so even though we're planting them under trees, this is what we do really in our bamboo forests, right? We should put in some leaf patches. I did mention something about having like glowstone in here, but I just can't be bothered. it'll be fine. Okay, maybe another leaf. Oh, definitely a leaf patch here, because we can then just leave that hole for whenever we want to use the beacon in the area. Okay, and you know, no one's ever really going to see this stuff, but I feel like just by having it here breaks up the kind of just the bamboo being like absolutely everywhere, I guess. Ooh, that's a good point. We've got a flying machine right there. Oh yeah, that's a thought actually. You know, part of the reason I'm putting down bamboo everywhere is so that mobs don't spawn, but one of the things I went and did is I actually tried to break up the consistency of how often the bamboo was placed down, so you kind of see it when you look at the whole area that not all of it is chock-a-block, and that's kind of important, and so we should probably think about that right now as we develop this area to maybe not overdo it. Just leave some spaces, especially considering we're like near the edge. And look, already it's starting to look like way more interesting around here as a result. It's kind of thick just in that area and then it loosens up a bit. Cool, that's some progress right there. That is some progress. Oh yeah, down here as well. So yeah, one of the next things to do is to spread the bamboo now out into these areas, because we don't want it just all like chock-a-block in one area. We kind of want it spread out is the idea. I don't know who gifted me the sub on the last stream, but thank you for your generous heart, says K1. Thank you to anyone who's gifted a sub here. Just in general, there are people that are kind enough to do that, and that is awesome of them to do so. Oh! I literally didn't see anything. It was just like explosion. Whoa! Whoa! What the heck? Oh my word, that made me jump. Oh my word. Getting some weird lag spikes now. Actually, it's probably the flying machines, isn't it? Well, we need to light up the area, or put loads of bamboo down everywhere. And it'll take time for this stuff to grow and really be seen from out and about, but even when it grows just a little bit, it's looking good. Yeah, so I'm not going to be too crazy about making sure all of this area is spawn-proof, as back here I don't really have plans to build stuff, but as you know, we try to spawn-proof the jungle by putting leaves down in all these spaces, or inherently bamboo. And then that means when, you know, the base is further developed and there's paths to walk around and stuff, that less mobs essentially, right? And keep the area nice and safe. So I think that'll do for just the moment. I think we really need to see this grow now. Yeah, definitely need to see it grow. So there's some other like terraforming stuff that I want to do in this area. I didn't plan on doing it this stream, but I feel like we might as well. Also, we're an hour in and I'm still standing up and I feel fine. I was going to sit down at an hour, but I think I'll keep going. Noah plays games with the cheers and bits saying, hey, I used to watch your videos. Looking to get back to watching. Noah, it's a great time to get back into what we're doing here because Season 7 of Hermitcraft has kicked off. If you want to catch up on what's going on, there's a video on my second channel recapping episodes 1 to 10, and this weekend the second episode of that goes out, recapping episodes 11 to 20. So that's for anyone really who enjoys the Hermitcraft season, the series. If you want to catch more of it, there is more coming your way. Well, I say more of it, I mean get a good recap, you know. Next episode of Hermitcraft will come out on Friday as well, by the way, if all goes to plan. Excuse me. So does bamboo grow and break vines, or vines break bamboo? I believe the bamboo breaks the vines. Is the way around in which that operation takes place. Is that in the right spot? Yeah, it is. Okay. Grabbing that, grabbing these, some of these, some of those. I guess we need to repair tools. Oh, this feels like a really good spot to put in the bamboo, but it will get done another time, right? Also, I got more rockets, so that's good. If we come around here, what I want to do is actually put this river back, I think. Oh, I need to see it from up above to explain. Let's try our hand at... Oh, I'm going to disturb the villagers! Okay, I didn't. This isn't good enough a view, actually, right here. Maybe I've been looking at it with my camera cam. That river, if we can bring it back through here... Yeah, so I'm just gonna rip out some of the blocks so you can visually see it. I think that's the best way to go. Let's put down that, put this next to it, grab a shibbity shovel. I've already got one. I've already got a shibbity shovel. Do you still play Factorio, says Dimpay? No, I'm a very like one game sort of person, right? And as much as I love Factorio and would like to play it, I focus on Hermitcraft. That's what I do. That's what I do. Yeah, so no surprise to see all of this down here. Remember, we had plans to remove the rivers. Now I want to bring one back. And we're going to bring it back through this area. X, good job on getting rid of the memes in the comments. Just a suggestion, trying to motivate the other hermits to do the same. It would be so nice. I've mentioned it to them, and I'll probably mention it again. Actually, no, I don't think I have mentioned it. I think I was just chatting with Scar and mentioned it to him. I will mention it at the meeting that, you know, addressing that really helped take control back. It's so nice, you know, like, I'm sure it will probably change back, and there'll probably be a bit of back and forth where I'm, like, reminding people that the feedback is good. But, you know, a long time ago, you didn't just put out a video, it was like video and then comments. And that really changed over time when YouTube started gearing up these ranked messages and, you know, kind of bringing about that sort of gearing for upvotes. And it degraded the quality of interaction because people were looking to get a upvoted comment as opposed to give you valuable feedback. And it was the valuable feedback that I really enjoyed reading after a stream, after a video had gone out. And just slowly over time it disappeared, and it used to be like this extended experience of like, okay, I did what I did in the episode, but like now I'm taking on what other people are saying about it, and where do we go from here? And that kind of like just disappeared, and I just sort of accepted it. And then talking about it recently sort of made me realize you can take control of that stuff, you can take it back. You know, we've got to take the power back, people. Take the comments back. Yeah, look at that, we left them there. So the problem with what we're doing now is that the river's like blatantly going to look a bit fake. I'm not sure how I feel about that, because now it's like work to reform it, but maybe I can do something. Ugh, I feel like I've just made a ton of work for myself, but anyway, I know what I want to do with this. So we want that to come around here and go off in this direction. And we got loads of grass to collect. Yay. Rage Against the Machine. Yeah, that's the one. Antonia K is here with the Prime subscription. Antonia, thank you ever so much for your subscription. Appreciate it. Appreciate it ever so much. So we know that the river itself is somewhere like around here. There you go. Maybe I should just flood the whole thing and bring it all back. I don't know. It's hard to say what to do. I also tore out more of the materials. Yeah, it really sucks that I did that, because I tore out... I think what I'm going to end up doing is just have a shallow one deep thing, right? Keep all the torches, otherwise I'm just doing some seriously crazy work. So if we look at it like that, right, like we're going to have the edge over here. And then I kind of decide, hey, it's going to be like that, then it just ends up being one deep. And then you got all the torches down below. I think that's the best way to do it. What is going on right now, says a fish called Finn. Is that a pun? Sounds kind of punny to me. We're just transforming the terrain around this area. I just wanted to do it up a little bit. Unfortunately, I kind of already made plans to do something different, and then plans for the area kind of changed. Like, I wanted to remove every single river. And, you know, does this... that's a good point. This doesn't, like... Although this isn't near my squid farm, it doesn't mess with it because it's only going to be one deep, so it's not going to have anything spawning in it, which is kind of good. But yeah, let's deploy this idea in this area then. Alright, one deep. Or maybe not, because I want to keep all of this... Yeah, we've got to fill this in like so. Why is there a carrot, says Taubar? Oh, because I like to eat carrot, I guess. Oh, do you mean that one carrot over there on the side? Yeah, I mean, that thing's there, isn't it? Cosmic Guy, welcome back to the stream, dude. What texture pack do I use? I use Vanilla Tweaks. You should use it too. It's wonderful, it's beautiful, it's amazing. Suma, do you read self-improvement books / self-help books? And if you do, what ones are your favourites? I couldn't tell you what ones are my favourites because I listen to so much stuff like that it all becomes like this big blur. But yeah, I love to listen to self-improvement and self-help. Like, it's really weird that it can be like stigmatized, but I think wanting to improve and trying to improve is a great thing to try and do. And I just love the idea that a fork can hold all this power that can change your life or your productivity. And one of the ones I read recently, I didn't read it, sorry, I listened to a podcast with the author of Atomic Habits, and that was just massively insightful into like actually constructing habits, like understanding that you can develop a habit and then constructing ones that are going to be positive for you. Like one of the things I want to do is improve my pull-up strength, and what I decided to do is, instead of training the way I was, is now whenever but like on particular days when I'm on the treadmill for like 20 minutes, I'm just going to break it up. Every 4 minutes, go and do like 10 or 12 pull-ups, and then get back on the treadmill. And I've done like 3 or 4 of those now, and straight away, it just bang, just all of a sudden, feeling that strength come around really quick. But it's a habit. That's the trick, was to make it a habit, make it this routine. When I'm on that, do this. And I've developed some really good habits just instinctively, but like listening to this book about how to do them and how to think about creating them and pairing things together really kind of made me like look for some more ways to do that, I guess. So for example, like if I'm cooking, I'm also listening to a podcast, you know, like it's a time where I can do 2 things at once. So I rarely do anything in silence, you know, but it's an opportunity to do 2 things at once to, you know, kind of maximize the use of your time. Little things like that, just all over the place, you know. Steak Apparizer says, try drop reps. Lower yourself to as slow as possible is a good way to get chin-ups better. Oh, you know, I haven't really messed around with pace on it. What I was doing was alternating weighted and non-weighted on just a regular like plan, where it's like, you know, this day I'm going to do 4 sets of reps, and then I just alternate whenever it cycled round between weighted and non. And that actually, you know, that got me off the ground. It really made some strides, but then that kind of, I got used to that, and then it just sort of plateaued, I guess. So now that I've changed it up, that's what. But yeah, I like the idea of doing slow repetitions as well. That's a great way to build strength. We got a noise in the ear. We got several. I've been waffling again. Wait, how am I so far behind all of a sudden? I'm like 11 minutes. It's just like I go into oblivious mode or something. Okay, Noah Plays Games 316 saying, hey X, I used to watch your videos, we can get back to watching. Oh, I read your message, and it was also a cheer and bits, so thank you ever so much for the cheers and bits, dude. Appreciate it. Kaylee Wally, sorry, I was drinking some water. I'm going to drink some more actually. Kaylee Wally is here saying, X, I'm curious about your opinion on tattoos. I have 10 tattoos and a few piercings, and people always tell me I will regret them, but even after going through a huge life change and a different outlook on life, I still want more. Did your opinion on things like this ever change as your view on life changed? Yeah, it did actually, in a big way. So when I was young, I wanted to get like really provocative and stupid tattoos, which I'm so glad I don't have on my body, because they would have been terrible. I was a little antichrist and I wanted all sorts of stupid stuff tattooed on me. But due to my skin condition, I couldn't get regular tattoos, so I had to kind of hold off on getting them, and then over time I like slowly grew less and less fond of tattoos. I don't like how they look most of the time. I just don't find them very appealing. I find like an untattooed body more appealing than a tattooed body. But I don't like the permanence of them either, because I guess a big part of my identity now, having gone through change, is kind of like embracing change and embracing that you could be wrong, and the permanence of tattoos just for that reason doesn't appeal to me. Aura Knight says I was the little Antichrist, Assumer 22. I was. Goodness me, I was a right old little Antichrist in my youth, but that's a story for another day. So yeah, personally, I'm glad I didn't get them, and I'm not really a big fan of them. But yeah, some of them look great every now and then. There's also loads of terrible looking ones. I mean, you know, like a bad tattoo is just a bad tattoo, right? That's like a bad painting. But generally, I'm not too keen on them. I like henna tattoos because they only last a week. I got some henna tattoos and they were not good for my skin, unfortunately. Another reason why I never ended up getting the tattoos is because I tried the temporary stuff as well and it didn't get along with it. Okay. We got more noises in the air. Antonia K has... Wait, I remember reading that one. Have I already read these messages? I feel... No, I haven't. I must have just obliviously not noticed the cheers and bits. So many people have spelling mistakes in their tattoo. Do you mean so many people, not some? That's a spelling mistake, jeez. Maybe that was the point. Okay, over here, got to blend it at least a little bit. You know, at least a little bit, come on. On tattoos, I have 2, and both were picked by Twitch chats at St. Jude's Incentives. They aren't what I would have picked personally, but they tell a story and encouraged to help keep St. Jude's open for 35 minutes. I wouldn't trade them for the world. Well, that's, yeah, I guess if you've got a story like that behind it, that's pretty cool, you know, because it's like, hey, it was part of this thing or that thing. But I guess that's what people do with tattoos, right? Like, it's something they're into, like, or they think represents them, or at a time in your life or something that happens, you can get it like tattooed, I guess. I'm pretty sure I'm never gonna bother with it, like, because it just doesn't appeal to me anymore. This don't look so great when it's flat, but lesson learned, I guess. It's how I want to start shaping this area, basically. This is some fast river making, my friends. Fast river making, like a pro. Like a pro. Okay, now let's go all the way over here. And there you go. It's a normal river. Nothing wrong with it. Okay, so moving around to this space, like some of the obvious things we can do here is just make sure that the river is actually clear for someone to travel through if they wish to do so. So over here, we lose it again a little bit. My sister wants a tattoo of my and my other sister's favourite flower just because we were all very close. That sounds like a nice reason to get a tattoo for sure. I mean, maybe it's just that my tattoos were very bad ideas for tattoos that puts me off them. It's like a relief. I'm like, whew, jeez, that would have been I would have had to get that removed. You know? Oh, they were absolutely terrible. Hey X, do you have any tips for exercising during lockdown? I normally get out of my exercise from playing football, but obviously I can't do that anymore. Walking is great if you're allowed to go for a walk a day like we are here in the UK. Walking's fantastic. Or going for a run. If you're literally stuck at home, you know, YouTube is full right now because all the fitness channels are pumping out videos of how to do at-home workouts. So there's tons of stuff like that. You know, body weight training, calisthenics. These are just some of the words you could look up to get some cool routines. Doing simple stuff like star jumps and press-ups and burpees, you know, like doing that for 10 minutes is good. You know, 10 minutes today, 11 tomorrow, you'll build up a tolerance for it, but, you know, because a 10-minute workout isn't very much, but it's a place to start, right? Just, but the real trick is just moving your body around, like, a lot of exercise is just moving about. Where did I put the bed? Oh, it's in my inventory. Right, we got Chocolate Live with the Prime. Pikeer 1 with the Prime. SCJDG for 10 months. We got Ethan for Laway with the Prime subscription. Salia Wolf for cheers and bits saying, hey X, I've got a dad joke for you. What do you call a dog that can do magic? A labracadabra. That's a great joke. I love that. Labracadabra. That is a dad joke, isn't it? Oh, that's great. Thank you for sharing. Appreciate it. We've got Noah Plays Games 316 with the cheers and bits saying, building my first PC. Ooh! That's part of the message, by the way. That wasn't me puckering at the sight of the creeper. The message literally says, loud noise. Ooh! That's what it said, people. Okay, no. No, I didn't make a fool of myself. Jeez, you lot. First time playing Java Edition. Any tips? If you're building a PC to play Java Edition, graphics cards, something, you know, mid-range, it will be absolutely fine. You don't need what I've got on RTX. It's just redonkulous overkill. Basic graphics card will do you good. What you want to focus on to get good performance is having a good CPU at single-threaded performance. Minecraft and a lot of games run on single-threaded. We got too many mobs here, haven't we? All of a sudden we got mobs in the jungle. Hey, villager head, sweet. One of the new ones as well. We got a creeper. Oh, I think I'm gonna get out of here. It's time to go repair my tools, basically, isn't it? So we'll take the toolbox, and we'll take that, and we'll get out of here. So now it just looks a little nicer having a river flow through there, I think. And having it connect up to the other bit. There's more stuff I want to do around here with this pond. Oh, now I'm thinking about decorating the pond. Goodness me. Is RTX overkill or worth planning ahead for if you're an aesthetic builder? If you're playing Minecraft, you don't need RTX cards. Okay? You know, something like a 970 is pretty much overkill for Minecraft. Alright, we got Sharkistry with cheers and bits saying, would it be possible to make something like a honey river on the drain part of the river? It's a good idea, but it probably needs too much involvement at either ends. Too much like landscaping and stuff that I'm not sure I'd know how to make look good. Not a bad idea, just probably a little too involved for what I'm trying to do. Okay, these things go in here, and look at that. Look at that, we still got stuff to smelt. We should go grab some bamboo, really, shouldn't we? Probably quite a bit of it as well. Oh look, we've still got some fuel down the end here, apparently. Right, tidy up the inventory is always a game that we play here on the channel. It's one of my favourite games. It's what you tuned in for. You're like, can't wait till X tidies up that inventory. Heads, we got one of those. That's not the heads chest, that one is. 2! Apparently I got 2. Nice. Don't know when I got the other one, but okay. That's pretty lucky. Junk can go on the ground. That up here, gunpowder in there, you know. Ugh, it's just one log, I'll throw it away. Save me the pain. So I'm going to leave that around here to be sorted out at another time. Cool, so I still haven't smelted up everything we need to smelt up, so we'll go grab some fuel and then we'll go repair some tools. Oakley dokley. Ugh, landed safely. Okay, we got Buffalo Socks with the Prime. Jasper Likes Frogs gifting the sub to Daisy Loves Mel. Thank you so much for supporting our community there. Appreciate it. T-Bug21 is here with those cheers and bits saying, hi Asuma. Speaking of fitness, I wanted to let you know I'm 19 and I just learned to ride a bike today. Also, love your base so far. That's awesome, dude. Congratulations on learning to ride a bike. I hope you enjoy cycling. I love cycling myself. I will probably do that at some point. I think I was going to pivot to cycling in my mind. I was thinking I might get back into cycling a bit because I went for a cycle one day, the other day. But I just all of a sudden got back into running. Like, going to run tomorrow. I don't know how long it will last because it's not part of my plan really. But I ran 6.5 and then I ran 7.5. So I'm thinking tomorrow I'm going to aim for 8.5 and then maybe get up to 10k. And then when I hit 10k, I'll probably just stop. But yeah, just kind of like spontaneously the other day was just like, I really fancy running. You know, I talk so much about like motivation and discipline, right? It just wasn't part of my plan to do any running, so it weren't like a discipline thing. it wasn't part of my plan, so when I just all of a sudden felt like it, I was like, well, might as well then, right? Hey X, what do you think of music festivals that cannot take the risk of getting cancelled if there will not be a vaccine by that time, says Mr. Stroopwaffle. A lot of stuff is going to change in society moving forward. We're going to have to, you know, rewrite the rules, and I hope that we rewrite them in a smart way. I hope that, like, the current situation illuminates the world that was already there, the world of viruses and bugs. We kind of know they're there, but we take a lot of it for granted. You know, the background noise of oh, that's interesting, you know, I don't know, stuff like polio and tuberculosis. Is tuberculosis one of them? Like, all of these things we used to have to deal with that, like, got vaccinated, and it's like there's this invisible world going on, and we probably didn't pay enough attention to it, and now this has happened. And so moving forward, maybe we'll find smarter ways of dealing with this. Maybe the response means the way we live in the future, the way we handle our health and whatnot could improve for the better overall, right? Because there's this invisible world of potential suffering that has sort of reared its ugly head again, right? And I say reared its ugly head again because we've had pandemics like this in the past. We had the Spanish flu. The reason it's called the Spanish flu is not because it originated in Spain. It is because the Spanish were not involved in the ongoing war at the time, and that meant that they were essentially transparent about what was going on. And because they were the people who give out lots of numbers and statistics about people dying, it just sort of became the Spanish flu, but it was a global pandemic. Dono Gaming says the Spanish flu started in the American Midwest. That's what I heard, yeah. Transferred from like a pig to another animal and then to a human or something. And you know, what's really weird about what's happening right now is that being in the edutainment community of YouTube and whatnot, you know, I say being a part of as in a viewing participant, is that this stuff was being talked about like for quite a bit of time. The last like couple of years I'd like learned a lot about this stuff, and even like before it's happened, I was listening to podcasts about this thing literally happening, like people warning of it, saying this is gonna happen, and talking about like MERS and Ebola, for example. Now, when I was younger and I didn't have access to that sort of information, you know, being able to listen to experts in vaccination or whatever, people that understood these fields, I was very much of the mindset of like stuff like Ebola was, I probably wouldn't have said a hoax, but I'm very suspicious of it. I was all like, oh, it's the media playing up fear and all this kind of stuff. Whereas now now we probably all understand what the fear was about, is that something like Ebola could have been like what we're going through right now. And when it comes to these viruses, there are different numbers that manifest in the world differently. So like the rate at which it kills people or how easily it can spread. So if you have something that spreads incredibly easily, low incubation period and kills people fast, it's almost too effective and it gets stopped in its tracks. But if you have something that can spread and stay incubated for a long time, and maybe actually doesn't kill a lot of people, maybe kills a small amount of people, it can spread throughout populations of people over time. So these things have already happened, and this is why there was so much fear around it. But when I used to think that different way back in the past, I was also getting my information on it from mainstream media. And looking at the mainstream media coverage of like COVID, to me just shows like the despairing gap in communication of information. Because having been interested in all of this edutainment, stuff getting explained on YouTube videos for quite some time, I learned about this stuff in depth leading up to it. And that's enabled me to really understand what's going on and take it seriously. And there are people out there that are not taking it seriously as well. People are saying take off your armor, you're right. What was actually the point of this? I don't know how on earth we got started on this. What's the point of what I'm saying right here? I don't blame the media, I blame the populace they serve, says Disturbed Puppy. Well, I right now I'm not trying to point blame at anyone. I'm just trying to explain that I had this like this time around, I was actually educated on what's happening. Like, when it started to get talked about on TV, I was like, oh, there's a message I'm going to read out. I was like, hang on, I already know this, and the way you're communicating it isn't very effective. So Linda Naho says, like, all the Karens out there upset about face masks. So I kept seeing Karen online tweets, saw it on Reddit a few times, didn't know what it is, sort of had it explained in a podcast I was listening to earlier today. And do you know what? I hate these kind of... hate, such a strong word. I really dislike these like meme-ish ways of throwing a load of people into a category. Mumbo. That's gonna kill me. That almost killed me. Okay. I really don't like how these memes come about where it's mean towards like an imaginary group of people that you're lumping other people into, and then it gets thrown around and used as an insult, and it's just quite sad. And I learned that it's some group of women that are supposed to be oblivious to something, and it's just like, I don't like this. This is not helpful for anything, right? There's no nuance to it. There's no understanding or discussion. We're just creating a sort of tag that we throw at people. And is it because you're a boomer, says Banther Boy. There you go, you see, using the boomer thing. I mean, I get that it's a joke and you find it funny, but in the means to actually have meaningful discussions, it's just awful. So yeah, going back to the way the media portrays the COVID stuff, it's, you know, like, all I was getting on BBC was just this bland talking of numbers and death. Like, when I say numbers, I'm talking about, like, they just stand there and they're like, you know, we've conducted 1,000,007 tests, and of those 1,000,007 tests, 315,000 people have been, and then they go on to the numbers of the deaths. And it's like, the way that they're doing it is they're sort of going, here it is, it's happening, we're telling you the numbers, but they're not educating people on what's behind the numbers, the reasons why these numbers are meaningful, and in what ways they are meaningful. And so it's not surprising to me that, you know, these conspiracies and stuff crop up around COVID, because of how authoritative mainstream media can be without explaining stuff. It's not surprising at all that people get skeptical about it, I guess. They have to provide information for the lowest common denominator, says Disturbed Puppy. Well, they don't have to, that's what they're doing, I guess. It would be better if they could do a better job of explaining. Rayleigh says the boomer and Karen thing is mostly out of frustration of the younger generation. It could be that, but here's the thing, because it's such a, like, unarticulated way of explaining these things, like, it just becomes frustration as noise, right? We need to get to what's under the frustration and express and discuss things with more detail and nuance, because otherwise it just becomes like a noisy meme that's there to insult someone. It's just so bizarre, all of that meme-ish insulting stuff. Excuse me. That yak, glad you're enjoying today's stream, dude. Hey, we're done. Oh, there's Mumbo. He patiently waited down there. What a guy. Ah, fell. Not to my death, though. Not to my death. Okay. Oh, jeez. Right. Look at that. Look, I'm so glad we made loads of tools. That was a really smart idea. I'm yet to think I don't have enough tools, though. This has been very adequate so far. I think the one thing I do need is probably a second pair of wings with unbreaking. We should go do that right now, actually. Go make some... Oh, jeez. Didn't want to fall down. I just see the Karen thing as what would be r/entitled parents. Well, that sounds like a subreddit that I'll probably be a bit about. Like, I don't know what the content of it is, but I worry about, like, the lumping of people into groups all the time. Hey X, do you think that we are able to find a working vaccine in the upcoming years, says Mumbo Void. From what I understand of vaccination trials and the process is that it's like a very long and slow thing. But now obviously everything's being fast-tracked. So, you know, I've even heard that apparently we might have one by September here in the UK. It's a very interesting thing that's unfolding, is that we're now rapidly moving to find a vaccination for this situation. We're taking back a lot of the red tape that's been put in front of vaccinations to make them safe, and this stuff's being fast-tracked. And I think it's probably going to take more of a historical perspective to really understand what's happening, as in 10 years from now we might be looking back and going, those vaccinations were rushed and they caused deaths as well. Vaccination does cause deaths in population. It's something like 0.0001% of people. And essentially the idea boils down to that whole, you know, the amount of suffering that gets reduced, and then unfortunately there is a sliver of people that will experience suffering as a result of the technology of vaccination. And I guess society has sort of agreed on that. There's some people that maybe disagree with it. But it's going to take that historical perspective to understand everything that's happened and see how different countries or companies came up with these vaccinations and how effective they were. It's going to take that historical perspective to figure it all out. And as for commenting on, like, will we have it sooner or later, I really don't know. I know that countries are rushing to do it though. Didn't I like grab a load of bamboo? Thought I grabbed a load of bamboo. I guess just go grab some more. I am doing this incredibly slow and ineffective, but I'm just I don't care. I'm just enjoying the discussions we're having today. Darrad Svee says, you make a great point, but the media doesn't care. They only want people to watch them so they make money. Yeah, it's an interesting aspect, right? That the media needs eyeballs to function. It's part of the greater economy of attention that we exist with at the moment, that journalism is, you know, fighting for your attention, and therefore it changes the journalistic integrity. It's something we've apparently lost. You know, I wasn't around many years ago to really experience like what journalism was once like, and I certainly wasn't interested in it when I was younger, but yeah, we're living in that sort of attention economy, and it's driving clickbait journalism and stuff like that, right? Which I think we're probably going to agree isn't for the best. X, have you seen the movie Contagion? I haven't, but I've sort of seen it suggested and all that. You know, like on Netflix, recommended, that's the one. There is no journalistic integrity in America, says Ease Chop. There probably is. There always is, right? You can't make absolute statements that often. There probably is somewhere, but it's probably not got a lot of eyeballs on it. You forgot your totem. Oh yeah, thanks. Thanks for pointing that out, Last Psycho. Let's read some noises in the ear. Where did we get up to? Oh, Noah says, with cheers and bits, saying, I meant tips for playing Java Edition. Oh, right. You know, I don't really know transitioning from Bedrock to Java. Just know that Redstone is different and more interesting on Java. So maybe look into the world of Redstone over here. You got more control over the game with mods. Definitely look into mods if you've played a lot of Minecraft. It's a whole other world to enjoy. Coop Schematic 20 is here subscribing. Binary Ascension is here for 3 months saying, honestly X, the bamboo looks pretty natural. Good job. Thank you, dude. I still feel it's got a way to go, but it's looking alright, isn't it? Rin Mitsuko is here for 2 months saying, hi Visuma. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for your support, dude. Appreciate the lovely message. I Like Grub is here for 2 months. Jinxed RL with the Prime. Echo Art for 14 months. We got Zach Timaun with the Prime. Jasper Likes Frogs is here with cheers and also biddies. Cheers and biddies. Saying, just rescued 2 goldfish from a teeny tank today. They're going into my 75. I don't know what a 75 is. Is that the size of the tank? Would you ever keep exotic pets like reptiles and fish? I personally wouldn't, because I don't think I have the time to commit. I definitely don't have a desire. Like, it's not like I wish I had more time and therefore I would have a pet. So probably like an all-round no, but I love animals. I think they're fascinating. I just tend to interact with them through, like, you know, nature documentaries, I guess. Oh, I didn't bring a shovel. I need a shovel for this. It's so weird. Everyone knows most journalism is trash at the moment, yet nothing changes. Talbot, you know, like I was saying about, like, being the change you want to see in the world. I mean, I'm not saying go start some good journalism. I just mean, like, there is actually some good stuff out there. You just got to give it your attention, I guess. Like I've been talking about podcasts and whatnot that I listen to. There's better journalism in that than I can find on, like, the Twitter sphere of clickbait, you know. It is out there. It's just, you gotta filter out the noise, you know, because I've now lived through, like, you know, a couple of decades of hearing how terrible everything is and all this bad stuff going on in the world, and then kind of realizing that there's always something bad going on, but there's a load of good stuff happening as well. So, like, focus on the good and help that grow. Where am I looking at? I've got on disorder. Wait, sound is off. I knew something was off. Not off like that. I didn't think it was off. I just knew something was off, like offbeat. Like, something's not right here. Okay, so I've been looking over at this area and I've been thinking, I don't like these ugly little spots of grass. Let's just change them out and make the desert feel... Is this actually a desert here? River. Ah, it's river biome. Yeah, it's probably that's messing up the generation. Let's actually try something I see other people do all the time, right? Is this the way you do it? Oh, that's the way you do it. Oh, I just upgraded my Minecrafting experience right here. That's how you do it. So we got Carlio B for 2 months saying, love your Asuma videos. Thank you ever so much. Appreciate it. LCO8 with the cheers and the bits saying, hi, you're a big inspiration. Love your streams. Thank you for the lovely message. I appreciate your cheers and bits. We got Magnum Indie for 12 months. It's a Goldie face in chat. Maxl1359 with the Prime. Mr. Skip21 with the Prime. Salia Wolf with those cheers and those biddies saying, so I'm a seasoned Dungeons and Dragons player, and just from what I watched of you, I have given you D&D stats. Assume avoids D&D stats. Strength 15, Dexterity 14, Constitution, I do not know quite what that means, 9, Intelligence 18, wow, Wisdom 20, goodness me, Charisma 13, average human being is around 10 overall, 20 is the absolute highest. Oh, thank you ever so much. Those are some very generous stats right there, I appreciate it. I've never played Dungeons and Dragons, it's never really appealed to me. But I've never also had the opportunity to play it. Which, if I did, I think I might have to give it a go. Especially with stats like that, goodness me. You know? That wisdom will come in handy when heading into the dark cave with all the blood on the walls and the runes and the rituals. I'll be like, yeah, let's not go in here. We'll skip this one. Something tells me it won't be wise to go in here. Look at all that blood on the wall, jeez. This is clearly full of something bad. Oh. Bulb is here for 2 months. Thank you ever so much, Bulb. Appreciate it. Tactical retreat, says this is Nom. Yeah, tactical retreat. That's exactly what I would do. It's time for it. That'll just be my move every round. You see a treasure chest up ahead. With no sign of danger, tactical retreat. X is clearly smarter than a horror movie character, but that's not saying a lot. Everyone's smarter than a horror movie character. Looks like we're in danger. Quick, everyone split up. It'll be easier to kill that way. Please press tab, says Ruthie Banfield. There you go. Look, it's busy on this evening, isn't it? Busy evening here on the server. Alright, that was worth doing so far, I feel like. Just a little bit more to do over there, I guess. Have you played Settlers of Catan? Says Perrock Mum. I saw that game and proposed getting it. And was told not to, and then later on was suggested that we get it. And I was just like, yeah, I've already suggested that. X, what is your favourite podcast? I like lots of podcasts. I like that there is lots of them to enjoy. I would like to find something new, actually. I feel like I've just sort of been listening to the same kind of stuff for a while, and it's like I would like to get some new voices and ideas in there. Be healthy to get something new in the podcast diet. Someone recommended I listen to episode 25 of Sean Carroll's the Mindscape podcast, and I did, and I got a feeling it's the first one I ever listened to. I really enjoyed listening to it again. It's all about like consciousness and trying to determine what consciousness is and the different ways of talking about it. A really good podcast. Are podcasts free, says Andrew. Yeah, lots of them are actually. Tons of them are. Tons of them are free. Try mythology podcasts. I might enjoy that. I've always been fascinated by mythology. Like, there's many topics that I'm interested in, but I think you just have to find like the right person to talk about them. I think if you kind of like relate with the way someone talks about a topic, it can make you really interested in it. I've certainly listened to like guests come onto various podcasts and been like, well, I'm not interested in that, but I listen for a bit, and then before you know it, I'm just like incredibly fascinated by some thing that they're talking about, right? That's the beauty of it. I could even focus on shaping up this area, right? At least making that transition here just a little less awful. I keep getting the pathing on the grass happening. Like, my own fault, of course. But look at that, this area looks much nicer now. I think I'm going to replace this over here with grass. We're gonna flip it and reverse it now. That's what we're going to do. We got Leonard Atch with the Prime subscription and gifting 2 subs to Doe Wacko and Sarah Carabelle. Thank you ever so much for those gifted subs. Very kind of you to do that. Neutron Fury in 95 is here for 3 months. Thank you ever so much. And we got a Dollarman with the cheers and the bits saying, do you remember raiding Rory Plays a couple of weeks ago? Just want to say thanks for sending me over there. Well, thank you ever so much for the cheers and bits. Happy to send you their way. When I raid channels in the Minecraft community, I just pick out like a random channel. It's just a way of supporting. You know, the way I got started. This is awkward. The way I got started here on YouTube. You know, a bit of here on YouTube when we're on Twitch. The way I got started on YouTube was just with a bit of random luck in a weird way. You know, right place, right time, and so I think it's just good to like throw a bone out there and. You know, if there isn't a hermit I'm going to raid, we raid a random channel, and, you know, you might just find someone new to enjoy it. It might just help them along their journey, you know, doing all this crazy streaming stuff. Okay, going further around, I probably don't care as much, because this is more out of sight, to be quite frank. And it's got a big old tree in the middle of it. I don't think I'm going to bother with that for now. I don't think I'm going to bother with that at all. One thing we will do is prep this here a little bit. I'm going to build something here, and I'm going to tear it down probably by about 3 layers. So, since we still have time, I'm going to actually start work on that. Ooh, and then from this spot we can see Corrales. I really wish I was a little closer to Corrales. I'm actually going to move further in. I've kind of decided that I'm not going to spread out as much and try and focus on getting everything sort of inside the various buildings I've put over there so far. But me and Corrales have a plan to extend a road from his base through the jungle. We're talking about... Let me show you something. If we go in this direction, we'll go towards Mumbo. So, Mumbo's like not a neighbour, but he's kind of like just down here. And so eventually we could put a road that leads over to Mumbo. There it is. See, look at that. And I'll turn around because I'll probably be spoiling something, right? That's usually how this goes. So yeah, like look at that. You know, it's almost like Corrales and Mumbo are in eye shot of each other. It's crazy how close everyone is. So back to this. Let's get at it. How crazy. Everyone seems so far away at the start, says Emperor. I think when we hadn't built as much, you know, it would seem a little bit further. Once you got big structures to like focus on, and you've got the ability to fly, I think that makes a big difference, right? Once you can fly, you can get to stuff really quick. Otherwise, I would have been like, you know, spending a good minute or so traveling in Mumbo's direction, essentially. Right, we've got ScarX09 with the Prime subscription and Eggmatic. Thank you ever so much for your Prime subscriptions. Appreciate it. Will and Ensa says, this reminds me of Season 4 when everyone was together. Yeah, that was a great season. You know, I was thinking about Season 8, as you do. You know, like, being a creative mind, I'm never like... This is why every season we talk about the next season as well. My mind always ticks over with like, you're doing this, but you could do it a different way, right? So then it's like, in the context of Minecraft and Hermitcraft, it's like next season. So like next season, I'm going to be gunning for like, hey, let's all like really embrace playing next to each other now. Let's start out all in the same area. I think it would be wild to do something like that. I know why there would be pushback against that. It would be like, you know, spoilers and whatnot, but sometimes I think it'd be a good idea to just embrace doing something for the spirit of the idea and not worrying about the other stuff. Right, are we still capable of picking up sand? No, we ain't. We need to go drop her off some stuff from the inventory. Where's my... Oh, it's over there, isn't it? It's that way. Do you think we'll see a version of the minigame district this season? I don't know, because like the plan was sort of not to do one. I think last season the plan was not to have a mini game district, but it's just what happens. Like I'm the sort of person that proposes doing things different each time around, whereas I think sometimes things just kind of make sense to do them as a district, right? So I'd be the one sort of saying, let's not do that because we did that in previous seasons. Anyway, we did talk about it, and I believe we sort of agreed we're probably not going to do that this season. But that could easily just change, couldn't it? Right, so it looks like we've still got fuel down the end, and we're doing the very last of the smelting now. Well, that's terrific. That is just fantastic. It's going to fill that up with a little bit spare. Should be about 3 or 4 stacked spare when we're done. And that's all for that project. And I needed to clear out my inventory, and that is pretty much done. Terracotta, I got a chest for you. Right, we got a noise in the ear from Griafarlakin. Griafarlakin? Did I get that wrong? Did I get that right? Who knows? It's a mystery. It's a mystery. Spartan Master 120 for 4 months. Thank you ever so much. Inspector Graves of the Prime and Tidsu Exma. Thank you ever so much. Appreciate it. This season it seems like a second take on the Season 5 style concept, and this time seems to be working. The distances between bases is smaller and making it a lot more enjoyable, I think. Yeah, it is. It's actually a little bit like Season 5 because everyone's sort of geared towards mega bases, right? Season 4 kind of constrained us from doing that. Then Season 5 was mega base, and Season 6 was all about that district and shaping those areas, yeah. So it kind of steered some of us away from doing mega bases. I know what my Season 8 plan is for real. When that rolls around, I'm not going to make a last minute change like I did this time. I am going to play small scale, and I want to focus on detail. Like I'm gonna be like, rather than putting hours into designing this massive tower, I'm putting hours into just making this, like, this 20 blocks in front of me look spectacular. I'm really going to try and just do something different, because I think it's important to do that. And hey, if it doesn't work out, I can always pivot and go with something I'm comfortable with, but yeah. You know your plan for Season 8 already, says Firefox Panda. Yeah, of course. There's so many ways you can play this game, and it's always inspiring. You look around, you see a biome, and you're like, oh, I want to go build over there. But it's like, hey, that's just not my plan this season. So I'm sticking to my plan. I want to finish what I'm building here, right? Like, I want this place to be populated with glorious towers rising up into the sky and kind of representing different building ideas and whatnot. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Let's look at this. This should have grown over here a little bit now. Yeah, it's still some more work to do with the planting of the bamboo, that's for sure. This stuff needs to grow. Talbot says, I hate restarting. The game is so slow without Elytra in all the farms. On a community world like this, the start is like the bit I don't look forward to. But then when it happens, it's always really fun and interesting. And then once you get your Elytra and your rockets, like where we've been for like probably the last month, like it really flows again. It just feels like this is like the peak game experience once you got all your infrastructure in place. Hey, look at me. I went out grinding for sandstone, and we got all we need right here. I guess that's full up. I'm gonna leave it in my inventory for now, as I'll be using that soon. Lol, season 6, 2 years. Season 7, 4 months. Season 8, 2 years. Well, 4 months so far, right? Is it even? Is it really? Or is it 3? I don't know. I don't know. It's so easy to lose track of time, right? Anyway, peeps, be sure to hit the follow button here on Twitch, and be sure to head over to my my Asuma Says channel and check out the video about harassment of other hermits here on the server. It's an important topic that I'd like you to pay attention to, so be sure to do that at some point today. But this is the end of today's live stream, my friends, and there is another hermit streaming on the server. That means the Hermitcraft action continues with the one, the only, the Rendiggity Dog. So we're going to be doing a raid in chat, and that means you need to hit that raid button. In fact, you need to hit it right now. So thank you to everyone who subscribed, resubscribed, donated and cheered. I appreciate all your support, and I'll be seeing you very soon with another one. But ciao for now. Bye bye.